Here's the flop. 3 clubs out there, which gives Peter Vlasenko yet another way.
One out for David.
He's down just to the 4. It's an ace, so 2 aces on the board now. It's a 7, and we've just about lost another one. David Rudling is down to a virtually untenable position.
1,000.
Or he's going to have to be putting all of his chips in.
Well, he's chipping a chair right now, as they say.
So it will be a Russian final. Yeah.
Nikolai Losev, 107. Peter Vlasenko, 136.5 in third and second. But Mark Vronsky still in command of the table with 381. So on the 46th hand, David Rudling gets a break as the button is in front of him. Means that Nikolai is going to be the first to speak. David has gone from 1,000 to just about 20,000 now. Nikolai folding. David, you heard that. I'm not normally as good when I look, and he decides to fold. He's getting a hand off, so he folds. A little surprised that he's not all in from Peter. Mark betting his king in the small blind. And Peter with an 8-9. Mark's simply calling, excuse me. So Peter can check or bet, and he checks. We'll see a 2-way flop. The king 8 against the 8-9. And Peter has just flopped a set of 9s. Peter puts in the minimum bet. 6,000. Mark calls him.
That's unbelievable.
The turn brings a queen.
He should check this, right?
Check.
Oh.
Check.
Peter checks it back. And the river brings the ace. So, Peter. Mark's going to bet it. Bet's called. Mark turns him over. And there's Peter's 9. So instead of 9, Peter takes the pot away from Mark Vronsky, and that's going to move Peter firmly into second place. Mark Vronsky down to below 350,000.
Hi, my name's Sasha from the US, and I'm here to explain a tip that the amateur player might think about right away when he's playing a tournament for maybe his first time. A good way to start off playing a tournament is start by playing tight and build off that tight image to steal blinds later when they get bigger. But you have to remember that if, let's say, you get a huge rush of cards and aren't showing them, that you have to remember what the players think about you. So if they see you raising a lot and not showing hands, all they're seeing is you raising a lot of pots and being a maniac. You have to also think about what the table is thinking about you. So even if you're trying to represent a tight image, if you have been raising a lot recently with really good cards, if you haven't been showing them down, the table is going to think that you're a very aggressive player, even if you're not playing aggressive. So you have to remember to also think about what they think of you besides of what you're thinking about them.
And of course, if you don't speak Russian at this table, it's hard to tell what anybody thinks about you. David Rudling, the only non-Russian, is still alive, but only just. The button you see in front of Peter. Nikolai the small blind, David the big blind. First to speak was Mark Vronsky. He folded.
He might get a walk in this game.
Peter folds. I can't believe they would give him a ground skinner.
Not now. Not now.
Not now.
No fold.
Nikolai says no fold. And David basically having to call him for all his chips.
David hasn't seen his hand yet, so we don't know what he's got. What's he got? Looks like a picture card.
Looks like a queen.
Queen?
From up. Let's take a look from down there. It is a queen 10.
Oh, that's not bad at all. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, he's on not much worse than 50-50. Without looking at them, that's pretty good actually. So it's all or nothing for David Rudling. He's been in this situation 3 times and he's won all 3. Started out with just 1,000 in chips he was left with. 6-7 jack.
Doing it the hard way.
you heard David Redling saying he's doing it the hard way.
9 of hearts on the turn.
Well, 6 of hearts, pair of sixes on the board. He's got a flush draw now, David does, so the odds have improved a little bit for him. And it's a pair of jacks on the table, so we have lost now our third player. And David Redling, no pants, is finally gone. He did a good job of hanging around for a little longer than you thought he might, but he's the third player gone on the 48th hand, and we're going to play three-handed, and all three players are Russian. So David Redling now, the third player to go. He finishes fourth in the tournament, picks up $20,300 for his participation, and he leaves us with just 3 Russians remaining.
Yeah, I think I played 3 or 4 hands without looking at my cards, which is obviously my forte. I should do that more often, and when I started looking, it went wrong again. So, no, it's quite close at the end. I think there's a 60-40 shot to get right back in the game. So.
And remember, as David just said, the chip positions can change dramatically with just 1 double up. So Mark Vronsky's lead is substantial. Peter Vlasenko's only 1 double up behind, and Nikolai Losev certainly shouldn't be feeling any pressure just yet. The blinds are at 4,000 and 8,000. It's taken 54 hands to get down to 3. This is the 55th hand. The button is in front of Peter. 5 and a 10. 5 and a 7. Peter, he's out. 8 and a 9. So he calls. 5 and the 10 checks. We'll see a flop. And there's a 10. There's also a 9. So Mark betting top pair. Small bet, 8,000. Trying to keep Nikolai in. But Nikolai... Okay, Nikolai learned his lesson last time, put the raise in, and Mark, no hesitation, goes all in, asking Nikolai for an all-or-nothing bet on an 8-9. He's got middle pair. This is what he did to Peter last time, but he didn't get the response that he got from Mark Vronsky.
I think he's shown he's very aggressive. He had top pair, he had no hesitation in putting it in. He didn't slow play, didn't think about it long.
And
now Nikolai is thinking whether he has a flush draw, or and he's wondering whether his 9 is any good.
From Mark Vronsky. Is this the hand he wants to go to the wall with? If he folds it, he's got about 60,000 left in front of him. He calls it. He's called it. Yep. All or nothing for Nikolai Losev. This is a brave play for someone with middle pair and an 8-9, and he turns him over. It could be worse. He's got to be thinking, but it certainly isn't good. He's a 4-1 underdog.
So the biggest pot of the night, 457,000.
And this could get us down to heads up. There's the underdog, Nikolai Losev. He's been waiting and waiting. He decided to make his play now, and you see the odds have just gotten a lot worse for him. And there's a deuce on the table, and that's it. We've lost Nikolai Losev. We're down to heads up, and it took 55 hands to do it, but we are now down to 2 players. Nikolai Losev is gone, and really, I think the 2 that you always thought were going to be the last 2 are the ones who remain. And Nikolai Losev is the 4th player to go. He finishes in 3rd place. He wins $25,400. 3rd place finish matches his best ever finish in a tournament in Odessa, but this is a bigger payday for him. And Nikolai hung around for a long time, but probably chose the wrong moment to make his stand. There you see Nikolai Losev calling home, explaining why